Hello and welcome to another episode of Scrap Rabbit Gaming, with me, Scrap Rabbit. As you can see, we are back into Dragonfall. Well, you'll see in a moment. Last time we had just done a little bit of errands around town, and today we are heading towards the junkyard, where I'm probably going to have to kill someone for a VCR, well, DVD player. So, let's murder somebody for a DVD player. No, we're not going to steal the dancer's bag. Go in here. Or not. I have to go this way. Ah. Scrotty. A stout old man looks up from whatever old tech he's tinkering with to squint at you through thick old-fashioned glasses. He pushes them up with an old oil-stained finger as he straightens up to nod at you. He speaks with a gruff but well-meaning tone, heavily accented with German tonality. Guten Tag. What can I get for you? Well, it tells me you're the man to speak to about DVDs. That little shrew sent you my way, huh? Schrody's smile broadens. Will wonders never cease. Well, introductions are in order, I suppose. Schrody Bachman, at your service. The old man raises a grimy hand in salute. Need something salvaged? Some old components? Violect? I'm indeed your man. Wonderful. How about that DVD player? Now, let's see. I think I've got something that'll work for you. Schrody rummages through the junk heaped on the table behind him. A few seconds later, he snatches a battered plastic lozenge shape from the pile. Here we go. An old Korean player that I dug up last week. 2010 model. A real beauty. Schrody's smile broadens and he gives you a conspiratorial wink. I fixed her up and got her running, but without any discs to read. I've mostly been using her as a paperweight. Sounds like what I'm working for. What I'm looking for. How much do you want for it? Shorty glances back at the DVD player, a rueful expression on his face. Well, I'll admit, I'm a little loath to part with her. There's plenty of folks out there who'd really appreciate an older player such as this, and I don't know what your intentions are for it. Suppose I've given enough time and trouble at putting her back together. Be willing to part with her for, say, his eyes dart over year, calculated expression on his face, about 500 new yen. I don't have that. I could take it from him, but I don't want him. I'm short on cash right now. Could I offer you something in trade? Old man pauses for a moment, considering. Tell you what, a few months ago I had called a difference of opinion with that Baroxy fellow from the soy calf shop. He hasn't let me into his establishment since. I'd sell my mother for a decent cup of coffee. Give me a cup of Turkish coffee, the real stuff, not the fake junk, and I'll give you the DVD player. Sound like a deal? Deal. Okay. How much money do I got? I have 143 new yen. That should be enough for some coffee. I have information regarding that matter. My people were looking into. The one involving the surveillance device on my data tap. I'll talk. I've been waiting for my coffee for nearly an hour already. Growing the beans out back. Can't you see that I'm speaking to an honored guest? You tower of quivering corpulence. Now then, as I was saying, we are fortunate that you happened upon that surveillance tap. When you did, the people on the other end were planning a very bad thing, to be sure. A very bad thing? Quite bad, yes. Monica Schaffer was an important member of this community, more than most were aware of. This craze was under her protection. You know how it is in the Flux Infidem. The governance of this place, the governance of a place like this is tenuous at best. You never know what is going to be in charge, who is going to be in charge from one day to the next. But Monica was a stabilizing force, and not just because she was dangerous. She was smart and funny and wise, and she had a way with people. They wanted to support her, to follow her, because they loved her. And when she was killed, it left an opening for others. It would have meant bloodshed and pain if this council had been allowed to continue their plan, but they were not. We saw to it, you and I. Indeed we did, Altog. The Cruz Bazaar will maintain its stability a while longer, thanks to us, my friend. Now, what can I do for you, Infidem? Would you like some coffee, perhaps? Okay. I got a karma. How much karma does that put me at? 1. I probably can't do anything with a single pointing gun. Ooh, actually, I can. Can I? No, I can't. I cannot do a thing with a single point of karma. It is too little karma. But I have coffee. And with coffee, I can get a DVD player. So I didn't have to murder a person for a DVD player. Ah, thank you. Shirley gratefully accepts the coffee, then snaps the lid back and inhales deeply, wiggling his mustache as he processes the scent. Yep, that's the real stuff, all right. Shorty gingerly picks up the ancient device from the table and presses it into your hands. The plastic is scuffed and worn, and it rattles a bit when you move it. Give her some good use, okay? I will. I will put this DVD player to great use. I have some DVDs to play. Hopefully they're not weird pornography or anything like that. Paul! 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 What's up, guys? Seems that Ansel has assembled the team in your absence. They stand in a group around the old display that you had MacLeod deliver. On their faces you can see excitement and apprehension, curiosity and dread. Scrap Rabbit, have you procured a DVD reader? I have it right here. Good. This should take me a moment. Amsel disappears behind the ancient display. After a few minutes of fiddling with the battered inputs, he reappears, a satisfied look on his face. Everything appears to be functional. The dish should be ready to play. Well, don't keep us in suspense. Start the damn thing already. Oh, Dietrich. You're my husbandano. I love you so much. Scrap Rabbit went to the trouble of fetching everything. Let her do the honors. Syl steps back, clearing a path for you to access the antique machine. Well, clicky. Let's start with 1. The screen goes black and a cheerful digital chiming sound spills out of the display speakers. Crackle of static fills the air, coupled with a shrill electronic whine. After a few moments, the display goes live, and a disheveled-looking man appears on screen. His eyes glitter with excitement. Time on the screen is 20:34, 9:15. September 15th, okay. Hermie, I think we found her, after all this time. Fushwinger, I knew that she wasn't dead. His speech is jittery. You can hear the urgency in his voice. She survived the Dragonfall, just as I've always said. I knew it, and I was right. The screen explodes into static and the electronic whine. The background sharpens into a needle-like pulse, a high-pitched sound. Somewhere in the background, Dante lets out a low whimper. Sorry, puppers. Puppers. The screen clears, and the excited face is closer to the screen than it was before. The words spill out of him in a breathless tide. Taking a team into the Sox to retrieve her. The radiation be damned. We'll take appropriate precautions, of course, but we must go. Heard me, I think that the body may be nearby as well. Somehow she has survived for all this time. Static again, then clears. The figure flickers across the screen. May not be back for some time. Look after Mom, okay? I worry about her. And Hermie, stay safe out there. I know that things are heating up in Berlin, and I know you. Student protest, civil uprising. You'll be in the middle of it, I'm sure. Just stay safe, alright? And I'll do my best to do the same. I don't know what's going to happen when I step into the Sox, but I do know one thing. If the Firewing is still a danger, I will put an end to her, once and for all. Okay. Trek 2. Okay, this is December 25th of 2053. Sometime later. Green Winters. Oh, aren't you a looker? Found the message Adrian left me all those years ago. Got it cleaned up as best I could. Strange hearing his voice again. He pauses to take a long pull on the bottle. It's good to hear him, even if he did insist on calling me Hermie. Dr. Adrian Vauclair, the hero of the people, the Dragon Slayer. My brother. He grimaces and rubs his eyes. Hard to believe it's been almost 20 years. Alright, so I'm going to start recording these DVDs again. For me. For Adrian. For whoever might wind up watching. Every time I do this, it winds up feeling like a waste of time. But I keep doing it anyway, on the off chance that I'll find something important. If I stumble onto the clue that leads me to my brother, I know that I'm going to want it on film. I've been doing this for almost 20 years now, after all. No sense in quitting now. Christ, 20 years. All this time, still no leads. With all my contacts and my resources, it takes another long swallow of cheap liquor. Even my legendary bullheadedness. I've made no progress at all. I haven't turned up a single goddamn thing. Want to hear something funny? The closest I've gotten to a clue was a rumor. Apparently, a team emerged from the Sox a while back. Nobody's clear on the date, but... And get this. He leans into the camera and gives a conspiratorial wink. Supposedly, they vanished without a trace. Wink. He upends the bottle, drains it, slams it back down to the table. His eyes are rimmed with red. Not much of a rumor, considering I already know that you're gone, big brother. I'll live for that every day. Every day. Cats. Okay, this is October. Yeah, October of the next year. Stumbled upon this archival footage of the Fushwinger's original attack months before the Dragonfall. Easy to forget how devastating it was. Adrian saved a lot of people by bringing her down. I've got the footage all queued up to play, starting it now. Additional comments to follow. The slow whir of the DVD player shifts to a high-pitched whine. Is one of my cats meowing again? Must be background noise in the game. Cats make me just cats. A distorted, wavering image blooms into being on the screen. A timestamp in the upper right corner of the screen marks the date, July 6, 2012. It's difficult to make out what you're seeing at first. The scene is dark and smoky, with telltale flashes of emergency vehicle lights flicker on the periphery of the screen. The camera pushes in. You can make out two figures standing in their own landscape. All at once, the sound cuts in. Well, this is cool. Again, for those of you just joining us, we're coming to you live from Stolberg. After a few hours ago, the Dragon Fuswinger launched an unprovoked attack on this sleepy Harz Mountain town, and you can see the results behind me. Fire, ashes, and blood. We are joined tonight by the survivor of the latest and most horrifying attack. The reporter turns to face a pale man standing behind him. Sir, I understand that you've been through a terrible ordeal. Thanks for taking the time to speak with us tonight. The camera switches focus to a middle-aged man with a haunted look in his eyes. He stammers out a reply. Yes, of course. If you could, sir, could you please tell the people at home about your experience of the attack? It was horrible. Just pure chaos. So many people are dead. People I knew, roasted alive or trampled to death trying to escape. My own house was burned to the ground during the attack. My family, we have nothing now. You all made it through the attack, though? Your wife? Your kids? Yeah, we made it through, thank God. We rode out the attack in a small shelter. Me, my wife, and our 2 daughters. The shelter, it protected us, but the heat was just unbearable. You couldn't have stayed in there much longer than we did. How long were you holed up in there? 3, maybe 4 hours? I don't know. We just stayed inside until the heat died down and the screaming stopped. And what happened after that? When it was over, the air cooled down. The reporter nods, and the man continues. We stepped outside, and there was nothing left. Just smoldering wreckage. This dense cloud of black, oily smoke, and the stench in the air. God, that smell. It smelled like roasting meat. There's a long pause. From the tortured look on his face, you can tell the man is struggling to decide whether or not to continue speaking. Eventually, he does. My girls, they found what was left of their nanny outside. Her body, what was left of it, was slumped against the shelter door. I kept telling myself that I couldn't hear her pounding to get in. But it isn't true. I could. I just couldn't bring myself to open that door. I couldn't risk my family like that. Not for her. Not for anyone. Thank you, sir, for taking the time to speak with us. Yeah. You heard it here. An absolute chilling account of tonight's attack. Again, the town of Stolberg has been reduced to ash. Another victim of the fire wing. Stay with us for more up-to-the-minute reporting on Fuswinger's reign of terror. Greenwinter's face reappears on the screen. Okay, it's time for a new approach. Adrian's a complete dead end. That much is pretty clear by now. So I'm gonna do some digging on Fuswinger instead. Let's see where this goes. Beep boop. And just a few days later, the end of the month. Well, that was a bust. Little progress on Fuswinger either. He shakes his head. I don't know, it's weird. The information is there, it's just wrong. Somehow. It's too well laid out, too simple. Real life is messy, and this just feels a little too neat. That's not the only thing that's nagging at me. I'm getting that tingly feeling all up in the back of my neck again. Feels like I'm being tracked. I'm no Matrix hotshot like Clockwork or Schaefer, but I'm good enough to know when someone's on my scent. Gotta install some new security measures. Can't be too careful. A few days later, something terrible has happened to him. You, my friend, need a nap. Christ, I'm getting too close to something. There's a trail of bodies, and there have been disappearances. Gearbox, Marcian, Peregrine, they've all disappeared within the past few years. Gearbox just went AWOL yesterday, and they were all making some sort of inquiries about the firewing thing that I've been. They're just ghost stories spreading around the Decker community. Stories about Deckers disappearing and showing up later, but wrong somehow. Scary stuff, and I'm starting to think that it's true. Blitzling's in whispering to you. I know the stories he's talking about, Chief. Never really put much stock into them. Not until now. Could these rumors be related to what's happening here? Am I being paranoid? He pauses for a moment as if seriously considering the question. Then he shakes his head and slams his fist on the table. No, I don't think so. Something big is happening here, and I'm right in the middle of it. Iker cuts in. That's a bit of a leap. One other thing. Tolstoy told me a story about a kill team that might be related to all this. Apparently a Deckard named Hellbore posted a theory about Fewschwinger to Shadowland BBS about 5 years ago. About an hour later, a mil-spec team showed up in meat space and cooked their entire apartment with her in it. If what Tolstoy told me was true, Hellbore live posted the event. She described her killer, this great big orc with skin grafts. Then her whole thread disappeared, gone without a trace. Leap, Iger love? Sounds like he's on the right track to me. Iger holds her silence, but concedes the point with a small nod. On the screen, Winter pauses. He looks like he's working up to something. Finally, he speaks. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. This has gotta be Fewschwinger. All of it. Adrian was right about her. She's still alive, and she's out of the socks. She's covering her tracks, working the shadows, preparing to rise again. That means that I have to find you, Adrian, for everyone's sake. Thankfully, I've got a lead. For the first time in 2 decades, I've got a solid goddamn lead. I've backtracked all of the Matrix nodes that Hellbore was looking into, back before she got cooked. Whoever's been purging the Matrix didn't think about that. I found that she's turned up. Winter stabs a few keys on the keyboard, and an image expands to fill the screen of this monitor. A satellite photo of a rural landscape, annotated with GPS data. A set of map coordinates. So now, I've got a target. A place to start digging. The Harfield Manor, conveniently located on an isolated stretch of the countryside, miles away from prying eyes. Matrix records indicate that some sort of data vault exists beneath the estate, so that's what I need to get into. And this is where we come in. As if on cue, a familiar image winks over the monitor to Winter's left. Monica, I think I'm gonna tap Schaefer off for this job. She's got the skills to bypass whatever security they're running out there. And she's gullible enough to take the job in the first place. I'll feed her some line about flux state security, and she'll eat it up with a spoon. I warned her. Amsel's voice choked with rage. I warned her. On display, Winter's mouth parts into a broad grin. Time to put plans into motion. By this time tomorrow night, I should have the information that I need. And on the off chance that Schaefer gets taken out, well, that'll tell me something too. Can't make an omelet and all that. Till then. Well. Time for track 6. Recognize the winner at the tattered tray of sleep. It's a blur of motion, and the haggard form of Green Winter slumbers in the frame. Suspicions confirmed. Schaefer dead. Christ. Winters reaches a shaking hand off camera. A moment later it returns Clutching a cheap plastic drinking glass, he gulps something down, wipes his mouth with the back of his hand, and takes a deep breath. Okay. Back up. Slow down. Start from the beginning. Winters closes his eyes and makes a visible effort to calm himself. When he speaks again, his voice is steady. Sorry, when I read a lot, I tend to yawn. Got the call from my contact in the Kreutz Bazaar. Schaefer killed on the estate run. Matrix security at the estate cooked her brain. Considering Schaefer's skill and experience, on-site IC must have been extreme. Even by Berlin standards, security of that kind costs money. Real money. Given the evidence uncovered so far, corporate involvement unlikely. The connection to the fire wing is too strong. So let's come right out and say it. The dragon is what we're dealing with here. And the smart money says that she's coming for me next. Well, I won't go down without a fight. I've still got my contacts. Still got my connections. And the flux state can be a hell of a weapon for a man who knows how to manipulate it. Winters takes another long pull from the glass, grimaces and swallows. Time for me to make my play. Ghost stories or no, missing Deckers or no, I've got to jack into the Matrix and start pulling strings. The countermeasures that I've installed earlier should be more than enough to keep me safe for the 20 minutes I'll be in there. Winters drains the rest of the glass, then tosses it back over the shoulder. Moments later, you hear the dull clattering sound of hard plastic on linoleum. Schaefer's death was tragic. She was a staunch supporter of the estate, but still, all things considered. Winters fishes for something off screen. A moment later, his hand reappears, clutching a data jack cable. Better her than me. He plugs the cable into his head. The screen cuts static. Well, as your finger nears the eject button, the black screen cuts into the static. Moments later, Green Winter's haggard face appears. If you're watching this, then I guess they've caught up with me. They will be after you too now. Blitz whispers into your ear again, more harshly this time. What the hell is this? Why didn't you warn me about this before I came here? Didn't know, not exactly. Not exactly. Didn't come here to get hunted by a dragon. I'm not even part of this. You are now, whether you like it or not. So quiet down and stop bothering her. Whoever you are, whatever you think you're after, you need to find Dr. Adrian Vauclair. Not because he's my brother. Because if Fushwing is rising again, he's the only one who can stop her. You've seen what happens to the people who get too close to this. I'm dead, and dozens of others have died. You'll be next unless you find Adrian. The screen cuts back to static. The message is over. The DVD tray slides out of the reader. That is a lot of exposition, and we're about to get more. I've been recording for about half an hour, so I'm going to cut it here. So yeah, thank you for this. Things are really heating up, getting into some real awesome stuff now. And yeah, I hope you all are really digging this story. I really am. Man, I'm really loving this. Yeah. So, have a wonderful evening.